Bum, chugga-dum, ba-da-dum, bum. Bum, 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 ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum, bum. Bum, 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 ba-da-dum, da-da-dum, dun.
What song is this?
Anytime, Jake. Dun,
What?
dun,
Anytime
dun.
what?
Intro. Dun, dun,
Oh,
dun,
right,
dun,
okay.
dun, dun.
Welcome back, guys, to the Holcombs.
The Holcombs. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Jake.
And this is our either Jake is telling me this is our fourth episode or the fourth time that we have separately filmed and recorded this topic.
It's
In
both.
particular.
It's both. Which is kind of handy, to be fair, because it's a nice round way to remember.
Yeah. Just quick one. Dishwasher's on because I didn't think about it, and we've kicked the puppies out, but you'll be able to hear them, and yeah.
We'll try and cut it out the best we can, but
It's the puppy life.
sweet pup life, there they go.
Okay, so topic of this show is our birth story.
Birth story plan.
Birth plan story.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that looking back, we had a relatively positive birth story,
I'd agree.
but I would still say I'm traumatized.
I would definitely agree.
Yeah, so we have actually today she is 8 months old.
Officially 8 months old today.
Yeah, so 8 months ago
And it
today.
was her month birthday, and she definitely cried because she wanted to.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so 8 months ago today, I gave birth in my mum's house.
Yeah.
In a pool.
Which I had to inflate hungover.
Yeah. So I thought first of all we would talk about like prepping for birth and what that kind of entailed and like what I did in particular. So this, just to be upfront, was more. So I read books. By books I mean 2 books. I sent Jackie those books and he read a couple pages and that was it.
I tried my hardest, but they're also repetitive.
Yeah, and like the reality is, as long as I kind of knew what was going on, and I would send him like highlights, like I think this is what you need to know, and it was more like, so I read the birth Positive Birth Company, I think it's called, so that book, and then Nurse's Guide. Her last name was Miller. I can't really remember the other one. But I mean, I would recommend reading
both of those books. yeah, good.
Both these books I cannot think of.
Like you can't really
right
remember.
now.
Maybe they'll be. We'll put the links for the books in the bio. How does that sound?
Yeah, but someone has to remind me to do that.
Okay, I'll remind you to do that tomorrow morning when we go live. Yeah, make a note. Smart.
Yeah. Yeah, so whatever those 2 books are,
we will put them in the description with links.
Yeah.
Because they helped Hannah. Again, I read some of one.
Yeah, and then with the Positive Birth Company, I did, so it was a hypnobirthing book. I then did their course that they do, but not the like live one, the one where...
Webinar?
Yeah, not that one. I did the one where it was like all pre-recorded and everything, and it was literally just the book but in course form, and then there was just like some little things that weren't mentioned in like in like one and was mentioned in the other one, but like I learned like some things I took from the book. For example, having 6, like the numbers could be wrong, but having 6 dates a day 6 weeks prior to your birth date, to your due date, helps with labour, and so I did that, but that was in the book and not in the course, and I mean my labour was crazy quick. So is it due the dates? who knows? So yeah, I recommend those 2 books and doing that course. And then with the course as well, then they give you like some audio stuff like for you to listen to, some obviously like hypnobirthing tracks,
and some like sweet poems that I or your partner, I mean, I won't recite them to your partner, that would be weird, but I recited them to my partner Hannah, and it was only slightly weird. Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
I don't have a soothing voice like at all.
and within the prepping for birth, you also was recommended to do a birth plan. Now, funny story, the birth plan. So I essentially just copied the one that was from the Hypnobirthing book, because I didn't really know what to do, and I was like, everything that she has said is essentially like goes hand in hand with like my beliefs and whatnot and how I want my birth to go. So I literally just copied it. But like made sure as well though that like I understood what I was saying that I wanted. So there was things that I didn't really feel like were covered in the book, and I was like, I don't know if I'm just supposed to know this as like a human being. Am I just supposed to be born with the knowledge of like vitamin K injection and things like that? So I would like research and then be like, yeah, okay, and then write it down. But so with the birth plan, it's supposed to be, now take what we say as like this is our opinion or like what happened for us. Don't take anything that we're saying as like solid. You know what I mean? Like I could be saying something and it could be completely wrong, but I believe I'm right. Or like, you know, you just might not agree with something I'm saying, but you know, that's fine.
But it's our birth experience, like, not theirs. So
yeah, exactly. Fine. But yeah, so did a birth plan, and supposedly, you print off enough for anyone who will be around
present
for the birth, and then before everything kind of kicks off, ideally they will be there, like the team who are going to help you, and they go over your birth plan and they make sure that they stick to it as much as they can, and they respect your wishes, and also it's ideal that your partner learns the birth plan as well, so they just don't even need to look at it. They can just be like, yeah, this is what she wants, blah blah blah.
Yep.
We'll get further into that
later on.
A little bit later on. And then let's go to the juicy stuff. It
was so juicy.
The birth.
The birthday.
So, let me run through quickly my birth plan, and then we will compare.
The scene for the lovely people.
You know what's super frustrating is that we've done this so many times, and the first one we nailed it, but I messed up the audio, and each time we've done it since, we're just like flying through it. So yeah, anyway, moving on. The birth, my birth plan.
Happy birthday.
Happy day of birth. So let's compare my birth plan to the birth. So
Have you got your birth plan with you?
No. So I wanted a home birth.
Check.
A water birth.
Check.
I wanted as little drugs. And if I would have drugs, I only wanted gas and air.
Check.
But I didn't want it until like I had to have it. Check.
Check.
I goddamn check.
It out.
I wanted my music playing.
Half check.
I didn't want anyone to be there except Jackie, Midwife, and then the extra midwife, because I was told there would be 2 midwives. No check.
Not a check.
No tickety tick. I wanted like candles, fairy lights, dimly lit ambiance.
Yeah, it was a morning.
Yeah. Okay, so that was essentially, and then just like the other things, as in, so after the birth, like it was like, what positions I wanted to be in, and then when it came to the placenta, I didn't want to have the injection to encourage it along, unless it would mean I'd have to go into hospital. Then I'd have it done. So I didn't have to go into hospital. And like she would have the vitamin K injection, and that's all I can think of off the top of my head.
Sounds about right.
The birth. So throughout the night, I was having. Hold on, I'm not very comfortable. So throughout the night, I was having contractions, and when people say, when you're having contractions, guys.
The thing is, what I will say is, you don't know because you've never had them before. But then when they do act, because there was a few times the week before that we're like, I'm contracting, and it wasn't.
Yeah,
but you do. But when it actually happens, then you'll know the difference.
Yeah, and
sadly not before.
I had the Freya app, which is it comes with a positive birth code.
Don't pay for that.
Yeah, it comes with a positive birth code thing. I guess their app, and basically it tracks your contractions and then tells you when you need to contact the midwife to say you're in established labour. So we were using that, and numerous times it said I was in established labour, and numerous times I was not in established labour. Right. And then when it actually came to me being in labour, I just didn't use it because we knew we were like, oh, this like.
This is it. You were mooing like a cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah. So.
More on that later.
So during the night, I was having contractions. Jackie was out for the night because I remember I had the whole bed because I couldn't. I was sleeping diagonally. Mm-hmm. Not sleeping. But I was diagonal on the bed because I was just trying to
get comfortable.
Yeah. And then. At some point in the morning,
4 a.m.
4 a.m. It was the app said I was in established labour. So you ring midwives, and they come. Yeah. Jackie's home at this point. Jake is Jackie, if you didn't know. Yeah. You just burped into my face.
For all our new listeners. It's just Jake or Jackie or both.
So midwives come round and they're like, no bish, you are not in labour. Yeah, so they're like, you're only 2 centimetres dilated, I think.
Call us back when you're 4.
Yeah.
And how are we supposed to measure that?
Yeah. So then they're like, right, get into the bath and just relax, calm down, because I was squealing. So I get in the bath, Jake's gone to sleep, and I can't get out of the bath. I am stuck in the bath. I can't talk because I'm contracting, and I just couldn't talk. So and the bathroom was downstairs, and obviously Jake's upstairs. And my mum, we were living with her at the time while we were waiting for a house, she was asleep or something. Yeah.
Going swimming?
No, I think at this point she was asleep.
And in
then,
the loft.
Yeah.
She's a loft dweller.
And anyway, so I managed to get out of the tub after, I think it was 45 minutes it took me to get out, something like that. And then I try and get upstairs. I feel like I still had the pelvic girdle pain at this point because I remember crawling across the banisters trying to get up the stairs and just crying because of the pelvic girdle pain, not because of the contractions. I don't want to stress anyone out about contractions. And and then so I get up to our little lounge that we have, which was next door to our bedroom. So bearing in mind Jake was next door to me for the entire time of this. I managed to just get on a dressing gown, and then it just
Max as well.
Oh, is it? And then it just kicks in. I am in full labor. Jackie is asleep. I'm like on all fours on the sofa, my head crammed into the wall.
And if you can see, but let's pretend Hannah is the wall. She's on all fours on the sofa doing this. Oh!
But to begin with, I couldn't make a noise. I just no noises were coming out of me. So my mum walks past the room and she's like, "I'm just going swimming. You okay?" And I just don't answer her because I can't. But I'm contracting. And then it gets to the point where I am screaming, and I don't scream. I don't know how to scream. It's weird. I yell. I literally just don't know how to scream. But I achieved scream goals. I was screaming.
Wasn't screaming.
And squealing.
Wasn't squealing.
And mooing.
There we have it. That's the farmyard animal we're looking for. There we go.
And
it was guttural. That's the only way to describe the noise that was coming from the next room. I just kind of had to sleep through it.
Yeah, but somehow eventually he woke up. And I was like, "Ring the midwives." And then they come. Midwife, and I feel like that took forever.
20 minutes.
Forever. And we live 2 minutes away from the hospital.
And they're probably just having a tea and biscuits.
And then, so she comes upstairs and she's like, "Hannah, we need to go downstairs." I'm like, "No!" And I'm just yelling at this woman because I can't move. I'm in pain. Anyway, she checks me and I was 7 centimeters dilated.
Right, this baby is coming. I'm just like, I hope so.
But they say when you get to 4 centimeters dilated is when they give you gas and air. So I had gone all the way to 7 with no gas and air. So I didn't want to do it. I didn't want that to happen. I didn't enjoy it. I'm not going to go into too much detail because
it's unnecessary.
Yeah, and I don't want to scare anyone because everyone has their own pain threshold and everyone has their own experience. So yeah, but she somehow finally gets me downstairs.
That was a traumatic process. A lot of swearing at this poor woman.
See, I don't remember swearing at all.
Yeah, you won't. It was the first smack of gas and air you had. Yeah. You went straight from naught to dopey, I would say.
And then, so I'm on the sofa and I'm lying on my back, kind of on my side.
With a rail, with a sheet underneath you.
Yeah. But bearing in mind I wanted to give birth in the pool, which wasn't ready.
So, in the meantime, Hannah's mooing on the couch. Midwife A is present. What happens next? We start getting the hose and stuff ready to start filling up the pool, which is, let's be honest, it's not going to be swimming pool temperature. It's going to be as hot as you can get from the hot tap through 100 meters of water pipe, then into the lounge, into a pool, which wasn't inflated, which was another comedy sketch I had to put up with in the process, which was super fun. There's your mum has a really nice house, but no plugs, and also no extension cords. So we're trying to pump up this bleeding pool
while I'm pushing.
Well, yeah, hand's still pushing.
No, I'm not contracting at this point.
Yeah.
Because I literally lying on my back but on my side, my leg in the air because that just felt good, and my body was just pushing.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't doing it. I was like, no, my body can do it.
She's going, moo! Actually, was what was happening.
And they're like, "Come on, Jake, she's gotta get in the pool, it's coming.
Like I'm the friggin' lifeguard.
And
Flipping David Hasselhoff.
yeah.
Playing that.
Then eventually we make our way over to the pool.
We're in the pool. The pool was
then-
fine. We went out without a
It's
hitch.
fine. But then, like, I wasn't in the position I wanted to be in. But, like, you know, you get comfortable while you're in pain. So I was just sitting down. But
Cool.
again, I think my leg was up in the air. And I'm pushing. And they're like, Hannah, you need to, like, get on your front. Because I want you to be on, like, all fours. But leaning over the edge of the pool. And then eventually I got round. And I'm just pushing. And then one of the midwife A, I think. Oh, also throughout the entirety of this,
We
my eyes
skip-
are closed.
we
No, my
skipped-
eyes are closed.
No, we skipped a bit of not just did midwife B turn up, but also student midwives A and B. So there's actually 4 midwives in the lounge, plus me, Hannah and Hannah's mum, and the baby, soon to be. So that's 7 plus baby.
So Rupert.
Rupert was there as well, bless him. He was he was great. He was great. He did exactly the same amount of work as I did, to be fair, because again, well, we'll talk about that probably a little further towards the end of the podcast
But
today.
yeah, so my eyes just closed throughout this entire experience. So I didn't really know how many people were in there.
Yeah.
But I could
Oh, do you want
hear-
to rub Hannah's back? No, she doesn't want me to touch her. Like, trust me, I've known her for long enough now. Like, tell me if I'm wrong. No, I'm not wrong.
No, you're not wrong.
No, I know.
And
Like, oh, just tell her everything's going to be all right. It's just like, it's not. It's not going to be all right, though, is it?
I remember hearing, I think his midwife A was like, oh, should we put some music on for...
Nope, wasn't. Not even the right midwife. The student midwife, who had finally been told about the birth plan from midwife B, who whispered to midwife A, oh, she requested no students.
Oh yeah, I specifically wrote on there I didn't want students.
They brought them anyway because guess what? Not a lot of home births in Bridgend.
Yeah.
Some would say none, no home births. So because nobody gets to see it, they brought them anyway, regardless of the birth plan. Great job, gang. And then when midwife B turns to midwife A, realizes that I can hear them, she was just like, "Whoops."
Yeah.
So that's that. But the person who's telling you about the person who's said about putting the music on was one of the students, and I was like, oh yeah, I should probably do that. And then I had to faff and figure that out, which I didn't really know how to do, which is great.
So yeah, and then they put the music on, and so in the book and the course they say, or like she recommends, to have like really chill music, like stuff that, you know, like calms you down, blah, blah,
Super
blah.
chill.
And then, but I was doing that, and then I thought, surely I want music that I could like sing along to, so then it actually distracts me, or even like, you know, in my head sing along to, so then I completely like ditched the original playlist and literally
Just put on what she wanted to listen to,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
we just anything and everything
Yep.
on my original.
Not even eclectic, just completely random.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Shuffling
there's probably a bit of
Spotify.
Jason Derulo in there.
Definitely trumpets, no doubt.
So, which this is significant for when she was born. This is why I'm saying this about the music.
I know, yeah.
And what else, Jackie? Because from there, I kind of blanked until she was...
So, where are we up to? That's it, right. So, you know, in the process of the midwives being able to need to see how far the baby is along, they need a mirror. And they're all patting themselves down, doing what we like to call the pseudo shuffle. And so they're patting themselves down, looking for their wallets. Where's the mirror? Where's the mirror? Midwife B turns to student midwife B. There's one in the car. Just nip and get it. Off she pops in, pops out, dog barks, pops back in, pops the mirror in the pool. The baby's head's out. So in this meantime, while everyone's kind of faffing around and everyone's just like, it seems like they're just like shooting the breeze as it were, in the lounge. The students are taking more control than the actual midwives. But then as soon as the student B turned, it was just like, the head is out. They both other midwives jumped into action. Like, okay, Hannah, one big push, and you're just like, meow.
So I do remember when your head came out. So, and I remember
Me too.
at one point,
Vividly.
and I can only assume this was when the head came out. I went, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, it's like taking a big reverse. What did you say?
It's literally just like you just taking a poop, but out your vajayjay.
There we go.
Yeah. It seems like, honestly...
Chuck that on the internet. Why don't you?
Like, I genuinely feel quite chill about, like, pooping a human out. I would do that bit again. Was it the gas and air? Probably. Was it the dates?
Definitely. Could have been the dates. Could have been the gas and air. Could have been a combination of... That's why they get you to take the dates, is because they do a weird thing with gas and air, and it just like relaxes you completely, maybe.
Yeah, 100%.
It's chemistry.
So yeah, and then I think like 2 pushes later, they were like, "Oh, do you want to touch the head, Hannah?" And in my head, I was just like, "What head? Whose head? What head do you want about?" Because
currently, I'm 2 people at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
you're special.
and then I think it was like 2 pushes later, like it she just
sailed out, like
she just flew right on out.
Yeah, to catch her.
Yeah, but then they're like, Hannah, quick, because you need to
catch the baby.
You know, I had to like spin around, but I just like
you have to like lift the leg and scoot over the baby to then to like catch the baby.
Still closed.
Yeah.
So I didn't know.
I'm watching as I've just watched a human be birthed from what can only be described as a lasagna. Is there's just baby floating around in a pool while Hannah's flapping around trying to like get the position to catch the baby, which is something I'll never ever be able to not see.
But also what's kind of a positive, and luckily I was too off my face to be aware, so she did her first like tarmac poo, what do they call it?
I don't know.
Black sludge poo. Literally as I gave birth to her,
everyone was pushing.
Like
everyone pushed it out.
Awful poop that everybody's like, oh, the baby's first poop, but like we just didn't have to deal with that because I was covering it.
Yeah, it was great. Next thing was cutting the umbilical cord. So just did that, clamped it, did it.
Oh,
it's like cutting sausage.
Hold on.
Oh.
So when she was born, I wasn't paying attention to any songs that were playing. I just didn't clock in that there was music playing. And then as soon as like she was coming out, I guess, I clocked on to what song was playing, and it was Motion City Soundtrack, Hold Me Down.
Yep. And
Motion City Soundtrack is like maybe almost first place for my favourite band. Sorry, Jimmy Eat World.
Yeah. They're devastated.
Yeah, they are. I know.
Yeah.
I'm an important
Yeah. Have you not heard all the new sad songs they just wrote? They're devastated.
But also, that is the song that me and Jackie drunkenly galloped around in Club Ivor Bar.
Yeah, top floor material.
Like on one of our very rare dates we've been on. So, full circle, I think.
Yeah.
I'd say that's a circle.
Sure. Sounds like a straight line to me, but... Okay, swiftly moving on.
So I feel like that was important.
Cutting the umbilical cord. Yes. Very important. Would suggest. Just kind of like cutting a sausage with expensive scissors. That's all I got to say on that. I was a bit freaked out because, again, you don't want to slip.
But that was the other thing, because I wrote in my birth plan that I wanted to make sure that she... I can't really remember what it is, but something like she...
Naturally.
the umbilical cord had gone clear. I think that's it. Before they cut it, so she had all of
potentially not an option.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. It was like the main problem with the fact that not all my birth plan was carried out is the fact that I never got to have my
like perfect birth.
No, that I never had to got to have my follow up with the midwives.
Oh yeah, true. We never saw them again.
Yeah. So if I didn't have as much knowledge as I had, no longer have, but as I had on birth, then like I feel like maybe he was taken advantage of, like, oh, she doesn't really know why, like, the umbilical cord. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, not so much taken advantage of, I'd say, but I understand what you mean. Like they took liberties because.
Yeah, and
I think it's. Well, no, hang on. Let me finish. They took liberties because they didn't read the birth plan. They've done 100 home births. You know, you've done one, and by the time everything's like fallen into place and they know they can kick back, which is what they did, then they read the birth plan. Once they know you're safe and baby's safe and blah blah blah.
It's a tricky one.
But that's the thing. You can't just give them the midwife A turned up. I gave her the notes so they've got a copy of the birth plan. It's on the front page, but she didn't look at that.
Yeah.
She looked at making sure what size the baby is and blah 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 and blah blah blah. I just think they've got their checklist to do first before they worry about you and your personal needs. I think obviously, I think again, you know, I could be wrong, but for me it sounds like that they were like, baby and mum are fine. Now we can flick through and see what they wanted.
Like 100%. Like, I get what you're saying, and I have no doubt that is accurate. But I think it's like, so I have always had a massive fear of giving birth until I learned about giving birth. Yeah. Then I was actually quite excited to do it. But I just think it's just one of those things where it's like, but this is my right to have the birth that I want. It's one of those like grey areas, shaky grounds, whatever, where it's like, you know, respect the mother's wishes, but then also it's really important that you make sure her and the baby is safe. It's a tricky one.
I think that's it, right? That it's like mum and baby are safe. Then they flick through your wants
and
after your needs.
And especially because mine was so quick. My labour was 4 hours.
Yeah. Like, honestly, it blasted past.
So if it was a longer labour, I'm sure they would have looked. But it's just one of those things where it's like...
Well, that's the thing. I feel like she looked at the book, said to a midwife, uh-oh, what's this? Can I go get a mirror? Yes. Boom. Baby's head's out. Everyone's in action. You know, there was no real waiting around. Once the squad turned up, that was it. It was just it felt like it could have been 30 minutes. I mean, obviously it wasn't, but from the time of you getting up from upstairs, downstairs on the couch to the pool, they could have all been minute increments. You know, for me, everything went so quickly.
So, baby's born. Cord done.
Umbilical cord.
Blah, blah, blah. Let's move Hannah over to the sofa.
Back to the couch.
To get his placenta out. Now, remember I said that I didn't want
the injection.
I didn't want any interventions of the natural process of what my body was doing. However, Olive had caught me on the way out, so I had a little tear, which they made me feel like she had torn my ribs, so I was very confused.
I thought she'd torn your entire insides out, the big fuss that they'd made about it.
But yeah, they were like, okay, we need to get it out now, and they gave me the injection, and within seconds, so it felt like, so my body was like, okay, I'm gonna push, so my body pushed, and yeeted.
Honestly,
flew.
Squirted. You squirted it out, and it covered two midwives in blood. Yeah, it was very, very much alien vibes. Yeah. Well, no, you covered midwife A and student midwife A both completely covered in your like blood. So yeah, that was gross. And I was on the receiving end then. I had the baby because they were trying to get this, alien out of Hannah. And Hannah was there. Hannah was there for it. She was there. She was ready to help. But what everyone forgets where I was sat, and I was sat downwind. Okay, I had line of sight, and for me it's been tough getting that out of my head. Because after watching, again, the baby, lasagna, we've spoken about it. This next part, I feel like Sigourney Weaver should have been there to help me deal with what I'd seen. Okay? And I can't go back on it.
You know what, though?
What's that?
It felt great. And I remember saying, oh my God, that felt so good.
Yeah, and I remember thinking, I'm never going to have sex again.
But while there's just blood everywhere.
So much blood.
My poor mum, like I said, it's her house.
Yeah.
She's got white sofas.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that's that bit. And then, but you know what? It was great though, because students, they had really memorable first home birth.
For sure.
I'm in the history books.
Yeah, longest placenta squirt. Is that not?
Oh my God.
Is that not in the Guinness Book of World Records? Because then.
So,
did I tell you I saw a penis in the Guinness Book of World Records? The librarian just told me to take it out.
So,
come on, that was good. Shut up.
So I lost loads of blood at this point, and they're like, "Oh, she lost like a
1/11 of a quarter." I don't know. I wasn't listening. There was gallons. How many gallons are in a pound? Nobody knows.
I lost a lot of blood.
Enough to have to go to hospital, but she had to go anyway to get stitched up. I feel like I was also getting stitched up. Just saying. But yeah. Oh my God! Yeah, no, that's we'll definitely talk about that next time.
So yeah, and then but that was a nightmare for a number of reasons, but I'm not going to go into all that.
No, okay.
But I'm really thinking of the paramedics.
The 12 paramedics turned up.
Oh yeah, so also like 6 paramedics turned up.
So
and I'm like, just
so now let's just stop a second. Men. Let's just stop now. We're all men. So we've got 4 midwives, 6 paramedics, your mum, me, you, the dog, and the baby. That's 15 people.
In my birth that I only wanted 3 people.
Yeah, 5 times that amount were there in the end. Times, not 5 more.
But like these paramedics, like it was just funny looking back. Like they were having to cart me around the hospital, just like knocking me into everything.
And the dolly just like wanging you into the walls.
Yeah, and then the midwife area, the birth area,
birth zone,
was top floor of the hospital at the very back, which is ridiculous. So we finally managed to get there. No one knew how to get there apart from me, but I was too out of it. And
a pretty solid idea, but
yeah. And
I had the baby to be fair.
No, I had the baby.
Oh yeah.
So they get me into a room, and then there's loads of people in this room while my legs are up on these stirrups.
Yeah.
My legs are up in these stirrups, and then there's like a billion people in this teeny tiny room. I'm not holding Olive, and they're all like just talking at me, and then I just start crying. So I'm like, I just want to hold my baby, and then they're like, you can hold your baby this whole time, and I was like, you kid, like, you're all just yelling and just talking at me, and I don't know what's going on.
It was the terrifying Nigerian woman who had needles going close to your private parts that was quite stressful for me. Especially because you go, Hannah, you're okay. And you're just like, no, I'm not!
Yeah, I think, honestly, getting the stitches was probably the worst part. And I think, actually, that's the bit that has traumatized me.
I couldn't agree more.
So, just skipping over the whole hospital bit, we were there for an extra, 12 hours.
Yeah.
It sucked.
Actually, it was 11 hours and 48 minutes, but no, you go.
But I had the birth that I wanted. It wasn't in hospital, and then we ended up, and I had to
ask to go home.
Yeah, well, I had to demand that I went home because I didn't agree with that. I had to be there. Okay, so I believe I had a positive birth experience.
Yeah.
I would go through the birth again, but what has traumatized me, and I'm just being open and honest, and this is how I feel.
You go, girl.
What traumatized me.
Get 'em.
Was having, and I feel like I'm actually just realizing this, was having the stitches. Because 12 weeks after, I had to go for a smear, and I also was having the coil put in because I don't agree with forms of birth control because of the hormones, but I had to go on something, apparently, or I don't know. And the only thing I could go on was the, I believe, copper coil, which I've never had before because the idea of it absolutely terrifies me. Anyway, so in this one appointment, they were like, let's do the smear and the coil. And I'm like, I don't even want anyone, like, I didn't want Jackie to even think of me in that way, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
I was just, the idea of anything happening down there was, like, I was really scared.
Yeah, because you thought you'd have a baby again.
No, it was...
I know what it was. I'm trying to line it up a little bit. I understand what it was. Yeah.
But then when having the smear, it was okay, that was fine. And I've had smears before, so I knew what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But then with the coil, and again, I'm not saying this to scare anyone, put anyone off, but my experience with that was a little bit scary. But that was solely because I was putting my body through a negative, I was associating it negatively, so my body was reacting to that. They couldn't do it. They tried, they couldn't do it, so that was like a billion times worse. And then they did it again, and I just don't want to do that again because still I'm just like, leave it alone.
Yeah.
No one, leave that
Get
alone.
out of there.
And you know what? You want to hear something, ladies? So I wanted Jackie to have the snip. So because I was like, you know what? I've been through enough. I've had to be on birth control for most of my adult life. I don't want to do it anymore. It's not fair. You have the snip. Oh no, I'm too scared. I don't want to do it. So what I say to that? Birth a human out of your vajayjay and get back to me.
And I've been trying ever since.
So there we go.
So there we are, ladies.
It's all on us.
Yeah, exactly. It's all on us. It's all on us, girls. Am I right?
Do you have anything to say, Jackie? I have questions from our loyal fans that I do want to answer. I don't remember what they are, but I've got them on my phone. But do you have anything to say? It's behind you.
Do I have anything to say? I mean, I think we summarised everything quite well. What I will say is that next week we're going to do my birth experience because I think that'd be way funnier. I mean, we've done the serious one, so we should probably do one that is a little more, understand where I was, where my head's at, and where your dad's head's at. Because do you know what? It's not easy. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking away from the person who is definitely birthing another person. I could assure you that's not easy. Not that I know, but I've been there and I've witnessed it, and it didn't seem easy. But do you know what's just as difficult? Maybe not just as difficult. I might be no. Do you know what is just as not difficult? Is just being a spare part when you're seeing your partner in the most amount of pain that they
not pain, but
euphoric pain. There was pain.
Just not being able to control what's happening.
you can, but there's nothing you can do, you know, and that's what I would say is that like, and there's nothing worse than like, and the midwives, they make you feel like a spare part, like when you get to the hospital, you're in the way, you know. There's no like support or any kind of like, I don't know. There's nothing there for the dads.
Sorry about the dogs.
Sorry, I'll just talk louder. There's just no kind of support there for the dads, and there's nothing there for like, okay, cool, like, and again, like I said, I'm not taking it away from you who've just birthed a child, but what I'm saying is that like, there's nothing like, even again, I'll go into it more for an episode next week. What I was going to say, and probably what I'll go into more detail, is like the hospital experience when you're a dad after mum's just given birth, and that you might as well just not be there because they treat you like you're not there, and it's rubbish and it's not fair. But that's it for now. Rant over.
Question time.
Do you want me to read them? Okay. Where should I start?
Wherever you want.
Right. So, question 1. Was it as scary as you thought it would be? Sorry, these are from our loyal... I'm going to start calling them Hulks. Incredible Hulks for Hulkums. Sorry, they're strong.
Oh.
They're strong. Hulk strong. Okay, so... Yeah, the Hulks is better. So, was it scary, or was it as scary as you thought it was going to be?
I went in with a really positive outlook. I didn't think it was going to be scary. If you'd asked me this while I was still scared to give birth,
right,
then no.
Okay.
As long, I honestly just suggest like just learning as much as you can about the whole process and how your body is actually, like what your body's actually doing.
Yeah, really great advice. My answer to that question is yes. How many babies do you have?
So we have one human baby, Olive.
Yep.
And then we got 3 fur babies.
We've got 2 puppy babies and 1 big baby.
Yeah.
Roops. Love you, brother. He's not listening. How many children do you want?
So this one...
Just a reminder that you have 4.
So
Okay.
So we, I don't know, this is kind of a tricky one because Jackie just wants the one, and I kind of go back and forth but my kind of thought process is Olive is too easy of a baby for it to happen again, as in we would never ever be blessed with another easy baby. So and when like our luck, I thought someone was going to be there. So our luck would be that she would be in a terrible twos because obviously she's going to be a nightmare toddler because she's been such an easy baby. And then we would have a baby. That baby would be a nightmare. So we would just have 2 nightmare kids. Yeah, so I think it's just one of those things where if, like with Olive, she was if she happens, it happens.
Yeah.
And I think it would be the same with a second baby. We would never plan to have a second one.
Yeah.
But if it happened.
My answer to that question, how many children do you want? 1.
You say you're none.
Yeah. Ollie's tight, but any more than that, I'm going to go skits. Okay. Nope, that's just you and the baby. I've already done that. Thank you very much. Question number 4. Question number 3 from one of our loyal Hulks. I'll get us there. Did you have a birth music playlist, and what was on it? Bangers.
I did.
That's the answer.
I've done it. Wonders, but not one hit. A million hit wonders.
Non-stop bangers, baby.
I don't remember off the top of my head, and I'm not going to look, but essentially, Jimmy Eat World, Motor City Soundtrack, Jason Derulo, Tayo Cruz, Miley Cyrus, Party in the USA.
I'm going to Okay, great. I'm going to cut you off. I'm cutting you off.
I'm going to keep...
Cutting you off. I do have a funny story about the birth playlist, actually, if you want to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice. So my sous chef at work and Hannah are very good friends.
Best friend.
Best friends. I'd say the best of very good friends. And basically, he was listening to Hannah's birth playlist on Spotify. I was just like, oh, this is all bangers. And then realised that it said Hannah's birth playlist and decided to tell me at work. And it was great. And thank you for that, Joseph Choice. We love you.
You're all welcome.
Okay, and the final question is, would you have done anything differently to your birth plan in hindsight?
No, I don't think so. Nothing like springs to mind. I'm pretty happy. I would literally probably just paste it. I'd probably just use the same one for another baby if we had one. If I'm completely honest with you.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
To answer that last question is, for me, no, didn't have a birth plan. Keep it breezy, baby.
Right. So that, my friends, is it. That was our positive birth story.
Yeah. Next week, I'm going to be talking about the dad's birth experience. I'm taking over the Instagram. I'm going to be asking all the questions, getting all the answers. There's getting some ass, maybe, if I'm lucky. Probably not. We'll cut this. I'll take a bit more of a lead on the one next week. There'll be jokes. We'll be lolling. We'll be zigging. We'll be zagging. We might even be zopping.
Yeah, sorry there was no,
fun games this week.
Yeah, just do what you think is appropriate. But also I knew it would be quite long, so I just wanted to just get this done because we've been yapping on about doing it for ages.
Yeah, and also the poll came back and it was to name our fridge. And I'm just going to start real quick and end on a high.
I'm going to pee myself.
Rachel, as in Rachhill.
Banging. So, good chat, guys. And we will see you and speak to you next week.
Yes.
Bye.
Don't forget to slide into our DMs and just drop us all of your questions. Just hit us up with a couple of jokes. We might even read them as well, but who knows? We're not going to do it. We do have an email. It's in the bio. Don't worry about it. Hannah's going to pee herself, so we're going to go. Good night.
Bye.